Hey YouTubers, Hike with Mike here, of course. It's a rare cameo uh, picture of me in here because normally I like to stay behind the camera than in front of it. Today I'm hiking a trail. I used to hike a lot when I used to live more in this area, and I haven't been on it in a long time. So it's kind of nice to revisit it, see what it's like. I believe it's a loop, and you can see here the trail's really clear, so I don't have to worry about ticks. So I'm going to hike around here and revisit some places I haven't seen in a long, long time. Well, this trail must get a lot of foot traffic. Um, it's right off of, a fairly traveled road, and then there's a community not too far away, and I could see there's a lot of footsteps and paw prints. Um, so it's probably used a lot more than when I used to walk it, but that's okay. So far, I have the whole place to myself. So, oh, look at this, kind of funny. Someone made a little happy face on the trail marker. Once you get further away from the road, you really don't hear it too much. But and the other good thing is it's the middle of summer in Florida, and most folks don't like to be hiking out in this hot weather. But me, the hot weather doesn't bother me. I actually prefer it. I'm not a cold weather fan. So hopefully I'll have the whole place to myself. I imagine, folks come out here in the summertime. It's probably really early in the morning, and it's almost about noon right now. So, but there's lots of shade cover, so it's pleasant. Alrighty, I'll check back in and we'll see what's coming up around the bend. More civilized hiking trail. They have nice little benches for people to sit down and rest. Kind of reminds me of when I was a teenager and I lived in Dunedin, Florida. We had a place called the Dunedin Hammock, and it was kind of a nice refuge to find some wilderness, in a relatively, suburban type of environment. So it was always nice to kind of have a little place where you can step out into the woods, get away from the lawns and the neighborhoods. So this is definitely much more wild than a Dunedin Hammock, but that's okay with me. And it's always beautiful. Look at all these sand pine cones all over the place here. Sand pines are kind of neat to me. They're different than the typical longleaf pines with the really long pine needles. That's a sand pine right there. They have shorter needles and apparently many, many more pine cones. Whereas the longleaf has less pine cones, but they're really huge. But I think the sand pines are very pretty plants, or trees I should say. Oh, I got someone to sing for me. Feathered friends singing for me in the woods. That's always good medicine. Well, coming across some nice wildflowers there. Small little cypress swamp. It's all dried up because we need rain for sure. Yeah, definitely dried up. But look at all these flowers over here. It's pretty cool. Kind of place where you might find some carnivorous plants. They love their swamp water. But that looks really nice. Hopefully we get the rain to fill this up though. The ants, the most industrious of all the insects in the insect world. Always busy, building and creating and rebuilding. And this is a nice wetlands pond here. Supporting all kinds of life. I was thinking it was going to be a lot drier than it is, so I'm kind of glad that it has some water in here. Lots of flowers on the lily pads and just surrounded by cypress trees. Just beautiful. Soak it in for a little bit. That's a really nice cypress tree.